Hey guys, good morning and good evening as well. So thank you so very much for joining the class. So in the last class, we discussed about, or we started about Amazon Web Services, Cloud Security Services. So under the Amazon, whatever we discussed, I will recap it and from there we can continue. So under the Amazon, so Cloud Security Services are divided into 6 categories or 6 groups. So first one is identity and access management. Second one is threat detection monitoring part. Third one is data protection and encryption. Fourth one is network and infrastructure security. Next one is compliance and governance. It's nothing but GRC as per information security perspective. And finally, security automation and management. In the last class or yesterday class, I completed first 2 categories, that is identity and access management and also threat detection monitoring part. So let's go and discuss about remaining 4 categories, that is data protection and encryption, network and infrastructure security, compliance and governance, part of the GRC, and the security automation management. So that is the agenda for today class. Let's go and discuss about these things. So next category is data protection and encryption. This is third category under the Amazon Web Services, security services perspective. So first service under the protection and also encryption, obviously this one is called as AWS key management system or KMS. Entire question this one, guys. Whenever you are going for any AWS based cloud security vacancy, so they can expect this one. What is AWS KMS? This one, if I'm comparing with Azure, so then we can call key vault. In the Azure, we can call it a key vault, but in the Amazon Web Services, we can call it a key management system. So what exactly key management system it will do? So what are we discussed yesterday? AWS Secrets Manager. So only secrets API keys can be stored in the part of the AWS Secrets Manager that we discussed in the yesterday class. But key management system, it will do a lot more than whatever Secrets Manager it is doing. Especially it will take care of the manages of the encryption keys, managing of the encryption keys. Those keys are obviously public key and also private key, whether it is a data at a rest level of the encryption or data at a transit level of the encryption. So those keys, it will go and it will store. For example, maybe you can consider we are using one of the PostgreSQL database and we are doing the database encryption for that PostgreSQL database in the Amazon Web Services side. Then we can go and we can store those PostgreSQL database data encryption keys under the AWS key management system. In this similar way, we are doing one of the ESUIT instant disk encryption. So that disk encryption keys also like a symmetric cryptography technology we will use for that one. So those keys also we can store or we can manage from the AWS key management system. So that is about key management system of the AWS side. And also key services. We can do the retaining of the certificates and also we can do the even revoking of the certificates. We can store and we can manage. Everything can be done by using these. So AWS key management system. As I said, this one is equivalent to Azure Key Vault. It will store the keys. It will retain the keys. So everything can be, even certificates also can be taken care by AWS key management system. So that is the importance of the key management system. So then next one is AWS Cloud HSM. So what Amazon has done, So instead of the integrating the key management system service to HSM module, like Azure, whatever they have done, they are maintaining HSM as separate service. So that is called AWS Cloud HSM. Okay. So in the Azure side, by default, whatever key vault we are using for mainly storing of the keys, managing of the keys, and also retaining of the keys, certificates management, secret storing, password storing. For everything we can use key vault. But all those keys where it will be backed up, where the backup will be taken care. So key vault is integrated to HSM. That's what we discussed when we discussed about Azure security. So key vault is integrated to HSM. So that is the way how the Microsoft has developed the key vault integration with HSM. That is called hardware security module. But in the Amazon perspective, they are maintaining the two services. In the Azure perspective, only one service. But in the Amazon perspective, there are two different types of services. All those managing of the keys and storing of the keys and also retaining of the keys can be taken care by respective of the key management system of the Amazon Web Services. But where the backup it will be taken care, it will be taken care by our hardware cloud HSM module of the Amazon. Okay. When you say hardware, it's don't think like it's hardware, physical hardware device. In the Amazon itself, we will create one of the virtual machine that is called as a EC2 instance. There we can go and we can store about like a backing up all these private keys or passwords or secrets or certificates and also retaining of the keys or retaining of the certificates and so on. That is the functionality of the AWS Cloud HSM. Whenever you are going for any cloud security vacancy, we can see most of the cases. So do you have the experience in HSM or not? HSM is mainly for the storing of all these different types of keys and secrets and passwords, retaining and so on. And also it will do the backup. What our primary key vault management system it is taking care. That is called HSM. Competitor to Amazon Cloud HSM and also competitor to Azure Key Vault, competitor to GCP Key Vault, one of the very, very famous open source key vault system we do have, that is called HashiCorp. HASHI Corp. It's a very, very famous tool. So HashiCorp also it's open source. We no need to pay money, but for this one we have to pay money. Azure Cloud HSM or Azure Key Vault we have to pay money. But if you are using HashiCorp, it's a free of the cost. We no need to pay any money. So there also we can go and we can implement and we can retain and we can store all these passwords or secrets or public keys or private keys and certificates and so on. That is called HashiCorp. Especially product development, mobile development and application development team, instead of the going and they are using about purchased any key vault, they can go and they can use our HashiCorp. That is also one of the very famous tool. It's a open source. So what is the importance of these Amazon Web Services Cloud HSM? It will provide hardware security security module for cryptography algorithms or operations. So what is cryptographic operations? Whatever keys are exchanging in between the client and server. So those cryptography algorithms are already we discussed in the third batch. We did not discuss, sorry, in the second batch, we didn't discuss in the third batch. So it is a part of the cryptography algorithms under the application security side. So there are symmetric cryptography technology, asymmetric cryptography technology, and hybrid cryptography technology. So whatever algorithms we are using in the symmetric side, that is called RC4 or RC5, two fish, blowfish, Mars, DS, AES, 3 AES. Out of all these cryptography algorithms, very famous cryptography algorithms are in the symmetric cryptography algorithm sides are, so either DS we can use or either we can use AES, advanced encryption standard, or otherwise we can use 3 AES. So these are strong ciphers. Bit length is very high. Attacker is to guess the bit is very, very difficult. So, but if you are using RC4, RC5, 2-fish, blowfish, Mars and so on, bit length is like 16-bit, 32-bit and 64-bit. Attacker can easily guess the bit size. So that is the reason. So we have to use either DES and AES and 3 AES in case if it is symmetric side. And always all symmetric cryptography technologies, whatever we discussed, that may be Diffie-Hellman, that may be so ECC, elliptical curve cryptography, that may be knapsack, that may be RSA, so that may be digital signature algorithm. So those has already strongest cryptography algorithm, strong ciphers it will use bit size either 1024 or 2048 and 4096. So that is the maximum bit size right now. Maybe in future, my guess is attacker even will guess 4096 bit also. My guess for the asymmetric side in future. So maybe we have to increase from 4096 bit length to 8192. 4096 into 2, that is called 8192. So 819 bit size we have to increase. So that attacker maybe he cannot guess the what or keys we are using, bit length we are using, converting of the encoding and decoding, converting of the hexadecimal or converting of the binary to other format of the system. But if we are using lesser length of these codes or bit length, attacker easily he can guess it. So that is the reason. So these keys we can go and we can use for cryptographic operation. That much in-depth analysis is there. What is mean by cryptographic operations? Cryptographic operations meaning you should be aware of the what is symmetric, and in the symmetric what are the strongest algorithms we can use to exchange the keys and to make the encryption, confidentiality, integrity and also non-repudiation of the system. In the similar way on the asymmetric side, so always all the asymmetric cryptography algorithms are very strongest algorithms because it will use ciphers bit length is very, very high. That is starting with 1024 to 4096 bit length. Attacker to guess those bit length is very difficult. Okay, so that's all about overall AWS Cloud HSM and also AWS KMS. So as I said, these two if we are comparing in the Azure side, we can call it as Azure Key Vault. Enter a question, this one. And if you want to use any other open source tool and very famous, okay, what is the HSM or KMS system we are using? HashiCorp. Because I worked on the HashiCorp. In my ex company, we are developing one of the product development team. So they have designed these HashiCorp. And for that one, I have done the threat modeling. So where they are storing, how they are storing, what is the logical flow diagram, what is the vulnerability, what is threat, what is the risk is involved by sitting the software architects and product owners. So I have done the threat modeling to identify the how the attacker will try to compromise even these secrets and passwords using the threat modeling. So nothing but first I should understand about the design, whatever these software architects or mobile architects or cloud architects or maybe product architects or maybe OT architects or IoT architects. Then finally, I will sit with them and I will see the logical flow diagram when the internal user they are trying to access these keys or maybe external attacker is trying to compromise what is the vulnerability and what is the threat and what is the risk is involved. Finally, I put in the risk register. That's called threat modeling. That anyways, that is a part of the application security in the design level, or product security in the design level, or mobile security in the design level, or OT security in the design level, and so on. That is different story. Part of the Agile and Scrum process. So next one is Amazon Macy. This is also one of the interview question. It's a new one. Up to 2021, this feature or service did not implement, but later they implemented this feature also because of the machine learning and also artificial intelligence. What this Amazon Mesh it will do? It will do machine learning to detect sensitive data. Example, PII data, nothing but personal identifiable information, or PHA data, personal health information, in our Amazon S3 bucket. So where the logs are storing, yesterday itself I discussed what is S3 bucket. First we have to configure the cloud trial and cloud watch. Those logs we have to integrate it to our S3 bucket. Is a storage bucket. Thereafter we can integrate those S3 bucket logs to our Azure Guard Duty. From Azure Guard Duty we have to integrate it to Azure Security Hub. These things already we discussed in the yesterday class. Okay. So what are the things we discussed in yesterday? Amazon Guard Duty, Azure Security Hub, and also you can see on the right hand side, AWS Cloud Trial and CloudWatch. So these four is a part of whatever discussion I am doing right now. Okay. So let's go and discuss about this one. Amazon MySC, what exactly it will do. Wherever the logs it will storing in the S3 bucket part of the PII data, personal identifiable information, or PHA data, personal health information, part of the HIPAA complaints and GDPR complaints. Wherever the first name and last name and email address, MDN number and mobile number, and also credit card and debit card, all those very confidential data, sensitive data, it is exposing to the public, then we have to enable Amazon MySC. So then what Amazon MySC it will do? It will identify the, based on the machine learning capability, based on the data classification, based on the data classification schemes. So it will go on, it will take care of the respective PII related data should not be breached. That is called Amazon MySC. Okay. Uses machine learning to detect sensitive information or confidential information. This is called data classification. Data classification is based on the accuracy of the data, based on the sensitivity of the data, based on the confidentiality of the data. So this is the way how the data classification we can do. Once again, data classification schemes. So data classification schemes are based on the federal government or based on the public or based on the government sector. That may be Navy or Army or Police Department or maybe Ministry of Defense. All those will fall under the federal government sector related thing. And remaining is private sector. So even according to the data classification schemes, according to the data classification types, according to the how the data can be classified, all these are completely different. Data classification types are public and private. And how the data classification we can do based on what mechanism? We can do the based on the accuracy, confidentiality, and sensitivity. Then what are the data classification types here? So classification types are internal or private. Second one is public. Third one is restricted. So that's what we discussed under DLP. So now data classification schemes are different. Data classification schemes are based on the with whom we are doing the business or what is the business vertical it is belongs to, whether it is a government sector or whether it is give me 1 second. 1 second, guys. Sorry guys, apologies. Yeah. So based on these sensitive information data classification schemes we are discussing, according to the whether it is a public sector or Navy or Army, Minister of Defense, government sector, those scenarios classification scheme is different. And if it is a private sector or it is anything is belongs to the retail or any private sector, we can consider as a non-classified data. So this is the way. There is so much information is there. So data types and data classifications, data classification schemes. According to that one, this particular Amazon Maze, it will work. So if you have the time permits, please go and watch my CSSP classes in the YouTube, so that you will aware of what is mean by data classification types, data scheme types, and also data types, and so on. Next one. AWS Certificate Manager. So what this AWS Certificate Manager it will do? So whatever self-signed certificate we are using or purchase CS certificate we are using from third party, so then that is called certificate authority, by the way. In that scenario, what is the certificate renewal date, expiry date, and also even can we revoke existing certificate or not? All those things can be done by using AWS Certificate Manager. When we discussed about cryptography technology itself, I discussed about SLTLS certificates. There are two different types of SLTLS certificates. One is called as self-sign within the tool itself, or within the server itself. We can go and we can generate the certificate that is called self-sign. I have shown even FortiGate firewall also how to generate the self-sign certificate. Hope you remember. So in this similar way, you don't want to use self-sign certificate, but you want to use the purchase CA certificate from the certificate authority with the version of X.509v4 from the any other third party, that may be Google Trust Services, that is called GTS, or VeriSign, or Symantec, or maybe GoDaddy, or maybe PK Publicly Infrastructure, or Komodo. All these vendors are available. For internet facing certificates, we can go and we can use the certificate authority along with digital signature with X.509 version 4. That is the current version we are using. If you are purchasing these certificates, or you are using maybe self-signed certificate or purchase CS certificate, what are the advantages we do have? It will provide confidentiality, it will provide integrity, it will provide about non-reputation and traceability. All those things are possible via these certificates from the certificate authority. So that is the reason we can go and we can purchase for internet facing websites or applications. That is called certificate authority side. We have to go and we have to purchase and we have to deploy on top of the application or website. And if you are going with the self-signed certificate for internal applications, that one, it is not exposing to the internet, only within the intranet. Within the intranet meaning here, only within the organization employees can access those certificates. Okay. So for example, maybe HR portal, or maybe ticketing tool, or maybe attendance sheet, or maybe downloading of your salary slips, and so on. Why? Because all these things we can go and we can access via virtual private network, that is called VPN. So those things can be managed and maintained and revoked, can be done by our certificate manager. Okay. What is certificate manager importance here? It will manage and deploy its SLTLS certificates. Whether you want to use whatever Amazon is supporting certificates, or whether you want to go and use BYOL. Just now I said already couple of vendors available in the market. Those vendors are Symantec, Google Trust Services, and also VeriSign, RHL IDM, and also GoDaddy. So then Komodo, PK Public Infrastructure. From those vendors you can go and you can purchase part of the BYOL. Otherwise, you can go and you can use directly from the Amazon. They are also providing the digital signature with the algorithm of X.509 version 4. Anything is fine. So that is about overall data protection and also encryption. Let's go and discuss about Next category. What is next category as per the cloud categories? So far we completed these three. Identity and access management, threat detection and monitoring, data protection and encryption. Let's go and discuss about network and infrastructure security. So under the network and infrastructure security side, it's one of the very famous topic. Why? Because there are so many very important features are available. First feature is, sorry, AWS Shield. Entire question. What is AWS Shield in the Amazon Web Services, part of the cloud security services? What Amazon Shield it will do? It will protect DOS and DDoS category of the attacks. Any flooding category of the attacks in the cloud services, part of the Amazon side, that way sync flood attack, or TCP flood attack, or UDP flood attack, or ICMP flood attack, or ping flood attack, or ping of death attack, or MAC flood attack, or ARP flood attack, or RARP flood attack, or DOS attack, or DDoS attack. Those attacks can be taken care by using AWS Shield. Okay, so this is the way how the Amazon company is developed. They have their own native service. If you're comparing this one with the Azure side, in the Azure side, we can call it as Azure DDoS protection. They did not change any name, or they did not provide any acronym in the Azure side. So, but on the Amazon side, we can call it as AWS Shield. In the Azure side, we can call it as a Azure DDoS protection. Either you can use whatever these cloud services providers are providing the DOS and DDoS protection, or else you can go and you can use in parallel to ISP router, either Akamai or a Barracuda or Imperva or WebSense or any other FI and so on. That is third party. That is called BYOL. Whatever you like. If you don't like AWS Shield or Azure DDoS protection, then I can go and I can purchase Akamai. Then I can go and I can purchase Barracuda or Imperva or WebSense or FI or Blue Coat and so on. Those called third-party vendors. It can be used protecting of DOS and DDoS category of the attacks. Nothing but here flooding category of the attacks. So what are we discussed? Flooding category under the network and cyber security attacks. Approximately we discussed 10 attacks. Those attacks are sync, TCP, UDP, ICMP, ping flood, ping of death, ARP, MAC, RARP, DOS, DDoS, application DOS, application DDoS. So those attacks can be prevented and blocked in the data link layer to till the application layer. So DOS and DDoS category of the attack as per OSA layers, it will fall under the, so layer number 2, that is called data link layer, and also layer number 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In these all these 6 layers, DOS and DDoS flooding category of the attack can be done by the attacker or multiple attackers. So in that scenario, if you are enabling this one and if you are defining the rate limit or throttling, we can go and we can prevent it. So that particular DOS and DDoS category of the attack, this one it will provide about availability issue. So that is called as or business interruption or business outage or yeah, so these things. And as I said, if we are comparing this one with the Azure side, we can call it as Azure DDoS protection. Next one, AWS firewall, web application firewall, sorry, AWS WAF. WAF means you know already, web application firewall. So what it will do, it will protect web application related attacks from common WASP top 10 category of the attacks or SANS top 25 category of the attacks. But it does not have that much capability, whatever third party web application firewall we are using. So what it will do, it will prevent and block, detect and monitor all WASP top 10. This is also called as application layer 7 as per OSI. Okay, that is the functionality of WAF. Or we have one more framework is there that is called SANS top 25. All these two belongs to application side. In case the attacker is trying to do the any attacks under the application side, that is nothing but layer 7. So those frameworks obviously WASP top 10 or SANS top 25. For example, those attacks are SQL injection attack or injection fly attack, cross-site scripting attack, broken authentication, broken access control, cross-site request forgery, one-click attack or click-jacking attack, man-in-the-middle attack, session hijacking, buffer overflow. All those attacks will fall under these AWS WAF. So if you are enabling this feature, wherever our account is created in the Amazon Web Services, it will go and it will prevent whatever attacks we discussed, part of the WASP top 10 and SANS top 25. Once again, these things are part of the layer number 7. That is also called as application security related attacks. Okay. So in the Amazon side, Azure side, what this feature we can call it as Azure Web Application Firewall, Azure WAF. There is no name change. Azure WAF under the data and application security category. So next one is AWS Network Firewall. So what this AWS Network Firewall it will do under the Amazon Web Service side, it will deploy managed network firewalls for VPC security, virtual private circuit. So that is called as VNet, virtual net. It's not a physical net. It's not like a local area network. It is a virtual private circuit in the cloud environment. In the Amazon Web Services, we can call it as a VPC, virtual private circuit. And if you want to deploy any virtual machine or endpoint, or maybe Linux server or database server or middleware server or web server, Unix server, or maybe Windows server, and so on, we can go and we can create EC2 instance. That is a part of the virtual machine. But on top of this virtual machine, we can go and we can create one of the net, that logical net or virtual network. That virtual network in the Amazon side, we can call it as virtual private circuit. But in the Azure side, we can call it as a virtual net, VNet. So these, who will create these things? These things can be created computing team, networking team. Okay, but what is our role? Our role is whenever any attacks are happening in these virtual private circuit, and behind the virtual private circuit, is there any EC2 instance are configured based on the network access control list, based on the security groups we configured to these virtual private circuits or to the EC2 instances. It will monitor inbound traffic and outbound traffic based on the policies configured. Either it will allow the traffic or either it will deny the traffic. That is called firewall. What is firewall? Firewall, it will monitor inbound traffic and outbound traffic based on the policies we configured. Either it will allow the traffic or block the traffic. It will monitor north, south traffic, it will monitor east-west traffic also. That is called normal firewall or next generation firewall. But in the Amazon web service side, we can call it as Amazon Web Service Network Firewall. It will do same functionality, but only additional thing what we have to add, we have to add virtual private circuit or virtual LAN. So that is the only difference. So how we can say deploys managed network firewalls for VPC security. What is VPC security? Virtual private security. So this one we can call it as VNet in the Azure VNet. VPC only, but Azure network firewall we can call it as Azure firewall, but VPC is equivalent to VNet, virtual network. So what is the firewall it will do additionally? It will monitor inbound traffic and outbound traffic in between virtual private circuits to public network and vice versa, opposite. That is called inbound and outbound. Based on the policies configured, what are the policies? We can call it as in the Amazon Web Services, network access control list and security groups. Either it will allow the traffic or block the traffic. It will take care of the stateful inspection also. But unfortunately, it is not supporting deep packet inspection, even Azure as well. So that is about overall Amazon network firewall. So that is the reason most of the companies, what they are trying to do, instead of going these two firewalls, they are going with third party. What is the third party firewalls we have? So third party firewalls, those firewalls are BYOL, bring your own license. Those firewalls are Palo Alto, number one right now in the market. Second is FortiGate. So third one is Cisco ASA. Fourth one is Sophos. Fifth one is CyberROM. Sixth one is Juniper. There are so many and so on extra. Okay. So because of these feature it will not support antivirus protection. It will not support about anti-phishing email. It will not support URL filtering. It will not support sandboxing environment of the malware analysis. It will not support about APT, advanced persistent threat detection and blocking. It will not support about URL filtering. It will not support about DLP, network DLP especially. It will not support Wi-Fi related and access points related, voice or IP calls. That is the reason we can go and we can use these third party firewall as a BYOL, but it is expensive. That's okay. But security is very important, correct? Next one is AWS private link. So that's why solution architect should aware of what is BYOL solutions we are using in the on-premise or data center or third party, and what are the different types of services are available in the cloud. You should compare both third party services and also on-premise services, and you should think about functionality, feature, compliance, deployment, technical support, finally cost perspective. In case the solution architect or security architect is doing any mistake, entire solution will go wrong. That's why security architect minimum expense should be 10 plus. Then only they will accept not only single domain, multiple domains. In case anything security architect or solution architect will do mistakes, obviously whatever tool we purchased, whatever solution we purchased, irrespective of the endpoint security or network or application or product, whatever solution we are using, cyber security and so on. So entire solution will go wrong. It is equivalent to software architects. It is equivalent to mobile architects. So this security architect is equivalent network architect and so on. So that's why they will accept. So multiple domains technology in the security field, and also minimum 10 plus years of experience. But I'm covering everything in this class by the way. So what AWS private link it will do? It will secure private connect between AWS services, whatever we are using, that machine learning or artificial intelligence or data science or developer tools or DevOps, TechOps, and so on, to our virtual private circuits, VPs. So that is the functionality of the AWS private link. So in between these virtual private circuits and also whatever AWS, AWS services we are configuring, it will make sure that private link will form like a tunnel, and the tunnel only data can be exchanged. So through these keys, that is called AWS private link. Finally, AWS VPN. AWS virtual private network. So it will provide secure site-to-site and also client VPN connections. So there are two different types of VPNs. One is called as remote VPN and second one is called as site-to-site VPN. It will provide secure connection using site-to-site VPN. If you are going for dedicated network security vacancy, that to firewall side, it's a compulsory interview question. How can you configure site-to-site VPN? Okay, so there are 9 messages it will exchange in between the primary site to the backup site, where the site-to-site VPN we are configuring. For example, take India and USA, or India and UK, and also India and Singapore, and so on. One site it is belongs to India, and second site it is belongs to USA or UK or Singapore or Dubai, and so on. In that scenario, it will use IKE phase 1 and IKE phase 2. In the IKE phase 1, it will exchange 3 messages. In the IKE phase 2, it will exchange 6 messages. Finally, in between one site to another site, even though we are connecting the router via public network or internet, tunnel it will form. Through that tunnel only, so we can exchange the data in between the one site to another site. So that is called site-to-site VPN. This tunnel it will provide confidentiality, integrity, authentication, authorization, non-reputation, traceability, everything except availability. Availability it will not provide, but remaining all other parameters it will provide. Okay. And remote VPN. So this is called as, so IPsec VPN also. Port number is 500. So that is about, okay, so AWS VPN. This one, if I want to compare with Azure side, so this one, there is no private link in the Azure side. If you are comparing this one with Azure side, this one we can call it as Azure Virtual Network Gateway or Azure VPN Gateway under Network and Infrastructure Security domain or category. Okay. So in the Azure side, we can call it as Azure VPN Gateway or Azure Virtual Network Gateway. Okay. So that is the AWS VPN versus Azure VPN. So that's all about overall under the network and also infrastructure security. Let's go and discuss about next one. What is next one here? As per our category of the security services under the Amazon side, compliance and governance. So we have three compliances under the, so compliance and governance side. Let's go and discuss about that fifth one. AWS compliances and governance. So under this one, what are the different types of compliance and governance? In the Azure side, we can call this feature as a Azure data and application security. Example, we discussed about Azure automation for Office 365 report, that is data governance. And also I have shown confidence ledger. Okay, these two will fall under the governance side. But on the Amazon side, they provide a total 3 services, but in the Azure side, only 2 services. That is the only difference. So what is the first one here? So I can say this one is 20th. AWS Audit Manager. What this AWS Audit Manager will do, it will automate evidence collection for compliance audits. Evidence is a mandatory whenever any internal audit we are doing or maybe external audit we are doing with third party. In that scenario, collection of the evidence, preserving of the evidence, whenever internal audit will come, showing of that evidence as a report, and also through external auditors whenever they will come from the KPMG or Deloitte or PwC or NCC Corporation and so on. We have to make sure that whatever preserving of the evidence, we have to show to them. So that is called as evidence gathering part. So audit manager, it will maintain, it will take care of the collection and also complaints of the audit reports. That is called AWS Audit Manager. Automates evidence collection for compliance audits. So that is the first service. If you want, you can use this one. Otherwise, you can go and you can purchase any other third party. That is also fine. Next one. AWS Artifact. So what is this AWS Artifact it will do? It will provide access to AWS compliance reports and agreements. Okay. So it will provide access to AWS compliances, reports, and agreements. What are complaints we are following, whether it is HIPAA compliances or ISO 27001 or maybe GDPR or HIPAA, SOC 1, SOC 2, SOX compliances, all those. This particular service, whatever we are configuring under the Amazon Web Services side, It can provide the access to those compliances, and also it can provide about agreements what we are using as a part of the contractual agreement in between AWS cloud service provider and also customer and also our customer, client or customer. Finally, AWS control tower. This is the latest one. What is AWS control? It will automate governance for multiple AWS accounts. Example, in the yesterday class itself, I told in my previous organization, we are using 17 accounts. If I want to automate everything from a single console, if I want to see what are the complaints we are following from these 17 accounts, I can use AWS control tower. It's a unified console where we can go and we can see multi accounts AWS environments. It will automate governance for multiple AWS accounts. Okay, that is called AWS compliances and governance. So that's all for today, guys. Only one topic is pending. So that is called as finally monitoring side, security automation management. So that is one thing is pending. That one I will discuss in the tomorrow class. So tomorrow I will start GCP, Google Cloud Platform. In the Google Cloud Platform, we don't have these many services, whatever Azure is supporting 21 and Amazon is supporting 24. I think it has less than 15 only. Those 15 we can discuss in the tomorrow class and the after tomorrow class. So once these two we are going to complete, then I will start network security. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you so very much. See you
Sir,
tomorrow,
I
same time.
have
Yeah,
one
please.
question is there,
Yeah,
sir.
please, Nagarjuna.
So it's like if in logical private cloud, if CSPM and CWTT these tools are
Mm-hmm.
not there, how can we evaluate the cloud resources in our network, in our cloud environment?
We have to purchase third party. There is no other option. In case if you don't have this ESPM, or maybe if you don't have the any cloud workload protection plan, or maybe DevSecOps and so on, we have to depending on third party. Example, maybe BYOL. In that BYOL vendors, maybe example take Checkpoint or CrowdStrike or Palo Alto. So you can go and you can see. Okay, by default, cloud service provider it is providing. It's well and good. So in case whatever you ask the question, it is not supporting, then obviously we have to go with the third party vendor. So very famous, our CSPM, I mean, overall cloud security posture management or cloud workload protection plan or CNAPP or DevSecOps. We are depending on BYOL with third party vendors that may Palo Alto or CrowdStrike or Checkpoint and also Sentinel One. There are so many vendors are available in the market. Even though so those vendors are not supporting everything we have to do manual way. So do you think that manual way, is it easy to go and verify the all the resources and inventory health checkup and also what is the posture management and validating the manual secure score and so which one is good in position and which one is healthy and which one is unhealthy. So without doing the automation, it's very, 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 very difficult to identify in the manual way. Is it clear, Nagarjuna?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a very good question. Yeah. Sai Karthik, please.
Yeah, hi sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, how to integrate AWS to SIM related? Sir, in Azure side, we can grow with Microsoft Defender like that. In SIM perspective, how do we integrate AWS to SIM, sir?
Yeah, we have to first of all create the cloud tile and cloud watch, and after that we have to store all those logs in the S3 bucket. Later we have to generate access key and secret
Okay.
key. Access key and secret key. These two access key and secret key, we can go and we can use cloud connector method. Please go and redo the studying or validation of whatever cloud connector methods we discussed. I given already example of AWS itself. Log integration methods. Did you remember? Log integration
yeah,
methods.
sir.
So what are
Like any
third party? Yeah, what are third party log integration cloud connect methods we do have? We have Sky Formation, we have the Oracle, Oracle, IBM. There are some Citrix and so on. So first we have to go and we have to generate this access key and secret key. And using syslog, we have to integrate these logs to our cloud connector. The cloud connect will act as a, shall I discuss in the tomorrow class?
Okay, sir.
We'll discuss in the tomorrow class. I will remember this topic. I'll re-explain once again in
Okay,
the tomorrow class.
Okay, sir.
Is
Thank you.
that be okay?
Yeah, fine, sir.
And please go and read once again whatever we discussed about cloud connector method before coming to the class.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Is there any other questions? Okay, guys, then thank you so much. See you tomorrow at same time.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Have a great day.